Okay. Yes, Chitra.
Yes. A very good evening, everyone. On the behalf of MIT School of Fine Arts and Applied Arts, I, Assistant Professor Chitra Shetish, welcome you all. Thank you for joining this informative session. We will begin with the college video. I request the technical team to play the video.
I'm learning drawing and I'm in fine arts.
I'm learning 3D design. I'm in applied arts.
I'm learning identity design. I'm in applied arts.
I'm learning printmaking. I'm in fine arts.
I am learning typography. I am in applied arts.
I am learning portrait. I am in fine arts.
I'm learning UI UX. I'm in applied arts.
I'm learning photography. I'm in applied arts.
So once again, a very good evening, everyone. So our topic is experience is everything today. And our guest is Mr. Prasad Khose sir. He is the founder of Creomi. He has over 19 years of experience in multinational organizations like TCS, Cinecron, Microsoft, Ernst and Young, and many more. Currently, at Creomi, he is working on a vision to co-create future innovators, empathetic problem solvers, and creative thinkers, creating content on YouTube, Marathi channel like Design Mandil for UX design. He has also served as a mentor for ATL Tinkering Lab at Kendriya Vidyalaya, appointed by NITI Aayog, a government initiative. Thank you so much, Prasad sir, for joining us today. I would like to welcome our Dean and Principal, Mr. Dogre sir, Milind Dogre sir, and request you to say a few words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chitra, and welcome, Prasad. Today, we have initiated this webinar under the name Experience is Everything. Yes, unless and until we experience anything, we can't share our thoughts. And today, this webinar is in the context of user interface and user experience. So in applied arts, we are dealing with many courses like advertising, branding, packaging, photography, illustrations, animations even, and user interface and user experience. Earlier in applied arts, user experience or user interface was not included as such, but nowadays it is in great demand. If you see, we are living in information technology, in the era of information technology, where information is very important, and creating that information for specific purpose, maybe for advertising, maybe for promotion, is again very important. So giving experience of any product which is used by consumer, maybe on a simple mobile phone, right, has to be designed. So that kind of experience has to be designed. So this overall design language has changed to give that experience on a very small device like mobile. Even we have been experiencing like and getting information from websites or different applications on web. So who works for this and how it is helping for a brand to develop, and what are the efforts taken by designers to develop all these apps? So today we are going to discuss all these things. I know we have many students who are interested in UI UX, who are aspiring to get into this industry and work as a visual designer in the field of UI UX. At the same time, it is very important for all of us to know deep into it. That's why we have arranged this very special webinar called as Experience is Everything. And we know Prasad will definitely give justice to this particular topic. We have chosen Experience is Everything because he is more experienced to share his experiences, to know and understand what his experience is all about. So welcome, Prasad. So without wasting any time, I think we should start this webinar. And at the end, I think we have kept question answer session where he will definitely guide or try to resolve queries on and questions of students, right? So let's begin the discussion session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Milind sir. Now the time to welcome our guest speaker, to whom we all are waiting to hear. I hand over this interactive session to Prasad sir. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Chitra. Thank you, Milind sir, for the kind words, and very nicely said about the experience. So that's really nice. Thank you overall MIT SOFA for this opportunity. It is always a pleasure to interact with the entire staff of MIT College. So we are talking about experience, as you have mentioned, and the title says experience is everything. So there might be question for the student, okay, why exactly we are saying experience is everything? Is it only for the digital part? Is it we are talking about, okay, there are a lot of jobs available and that's why it is everything? So just to clarify that part, I would like to start with the explanation why we are saying experience is everything. So see, there's a lot of competition, and as Milind sir mentioned, there's a lot of information right now. So along with the digital information data, we have the population started increasing, and we have a lot of services. We have a lot of shops also which are getting increased. Like I was just talking earlier, I stay in Hinjawadi, and like within like 5 to 10 kilometers of range, there are multiple restaurants which are opening. And it's not something that only one restaurant works out really well and others are not working. All the restaurants are doing quite fine. And it is just because instead of just having the good food taste, we all want different experience. We go there to experience the ambience. We go there for maybe one particular food dish or the way service has been done, right? So right now, because of competition. Initially, maybe one restaurant, we will go there, even that person is behaving arrogantly, we'll stay that, okay, no, we don't have any other option. But now we will immediately jump to other restaurant. So it has become really critical for all the business owners, whether it is digital product, whether it is physical product, or the service like restaurant, that experience which has been getting delivered to their customers, to their user, has to be important and has to be to the point where they will enjoy and they will stay with them for longer. So that is why we are using that title. Over to you, ma'am. If we, ma'am, you are on mute.
Yes. Can you please elaborate more about, about this field where students can explore more in this field, how they can work on their portfolios and how they can enter in this field?
Sure. So as I just mentioned, experience is not only for digital products. So first of all, student need to understand, okay, when we are saying UX, right? So even if they go for industrial design, even if they go for even like fine art, we saw the video making sculpture, doing the photography, right? Then making even the typography part or the mobile apps. So everything wherever we are talking about design, and when we say design is basically a process of solving users problem, right? I mean, that's the major difference between art and design. So if we are solving someone's problem, so we need to understand that problem better, we need to have better ideas, better understanding about, okay, what is business objective and what exactly that users are looking for. So in that way, I will suggest whenever student work on the portfolio, a lot of students focus a lot on how my portfolio is looking visually, but when the hiring is happening, if you ask me if I have to hire someone, I will look at the portfolio initially. Yes, I mean, that's the initial part to shortlist the person. But once we start talking, if that student can actually go in depth and talk about even the single line, why that line has been used, what type of users were there, and why we went to use this particular solution. So understanding the entire project in depth and having that particular thought process is really important. In portfolio, it doesn't have to be like 50 or hundreds of projects, even if you have 4 to 5 projects, but with the thought process, that is what matters a lot.
Sir, I have one question that basically we are saying about UX UI, right? Say UX design and user experience. Our today's topic is user experience design. So can you please tell us about something, the user experience, which is very essential nowadays? Might be the students have some questions. What is user experience exactly?
So initially, as I mentioned, user experience part, which is basically becoming everywhere. So if I have to talk about, let's say I'm using a mobile app, like we were just discussing, as simple as calculator app, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if I go to Play Store or maybe App Store on Apple, and if I type calculator, I will see hundreds of apps over there. What I'm going to do with those apps is, first of all, of course, we read the reviews, we see, okay, how visually it is looking. Once we install the app, whatever is the functionality, like the buttons, the way digits are given there, if I'm not able to find it properly, if I'm not able to do the functionality which I want, so that means my experience is getting interrupted, right? From digital perspective. If it is, let's say, a physical product, as usual as the cycle as well, right? Cycle which we use nowadays, we are using, a lot of people are using for green initiative purpose. But even in that cycle, I buy the fancy cycle, I don't know how to utilize those gears. So it is not useful for me. I mean, gears are just there. So making all the functionality easy to use. So in short, that there has to be no friction between use of service, use of a particular function, and the user.
Okay. So if I want to establish, if someone want to establish their career in this field, then what should they have to do exactly? How do they proceed themselves?
As I was answering to Chitra's question, so overall, when you are
Yes, sir.
sorry, sir, maybe some connection lag at my end.
Yes.
I couldn't hear the question properly. If you can repeat for
if
me,
if,
please.
if someone wants to build up their career in this field, in UX UI designing field, then what they have to do for this? How do they proceed their life, their journey?
Okay, it shows my internet connection was unstable for some time. So I just heard second part. Sorry for that. If you can repeat again.
So if I want to establish my career in UI UX designing field, then what should I have to do for this?
Okay. So for UX, as we mentioned, that design is about problem solving. So even if we are talking about UX, what we have to do is, as a good designer, there has to be a few particular skill sets. Whether you go for any stream in design, but if you are really good with observation, if you are curious enough, asking good questions, right, and asking the questions and understanding that answer those answers as well. Observation is again the key, because so all the solutions which are coming in and which are there already are somewhere referenced or inspired by nature. So just because somebody has observed something like birds are flying, it came to the aeroplane part. So tools, getting preparation, getting the courses done are, of course, I mean, is there. But as a core designer, I will always say there has to be a passion to solve the problem. There has to be good understanding about someone else, which is empathy in a way. So empathy, passion, good observation, being curious. These are something which are really necessary. You go to any stream.
Okay. So basically, when we are taking the name of this course, so at a glance, we are saying UI UX. So what do you think? So it should be UI UX or UX UI, sir?
That's really good question, because now everywhere, even if you look on LinkedIn, people are posting, okay, UX UI or UI UX people are needed. It has become UX UI or UI UX word just because a lot of digital applications are coming into the market. But there is an image on online as well on internet. If people search for even student UX umbrella, it has been there on internet since long time. So basically, we are continuously talking about it. Okay, experience is something which understanding about the user, giving good solution, right? So that's a complete bigger process. And when you have to show your solution visually, that time UI comes into the picture. So UI is part of one entire process of UX.
Oh, sir, what is the role of UX designer in the industry?
The major core again, getting out the good solution. But now if we talk about the digital part, even the mobile app as well. So let's talk about the process here so that student might understand much better. What happens is, any client comes to you that, okay, I want to create a mobile app. So it doesn't happen that, okay, immediately it will go to the design team and they will start sketching or they will start working on the Photoshop. There will be a team who will talk to business, which the step is called as a stakeholder interviews. So they will try to understand what is the objective, why this particular app, who is the target audience. From that target audience, a lot of discussions will happen with the stakeholder. So once that understanding has been done, then there will be a user research. Different type of user research are there, qualitative, quantitative, user interviews, surveys, right? So this initial part, if someone is really interested in psychology, someone is really interested in understanding, talking to people, one major role is being a user researcher itself. And nowadays, companies do have this role. Initially, it was not there. So nowadays, companies do have this role. Once the research is done, whatever insights you are taking, whatever data you have gathered, you will be basically analyzing that, getting out insights,
Yes, yes.
and then going ahead for the solution. So that's where I'll say information architecture, interaction designer, that is the role. And then it comes as a visual designer or UI designer. So different roles are there.
Okay. And what does the industry look for while hiring a newcomer?
While hiring a newcomer, of course, I mean, the portfolio part is
Oh.
something which is getting to be shortlisted. But even if you are shortlisted and while hiring, so when I used to take interviews, the first question I asked any candidate, okay, why you chose design as a career? See, the thought process starts from there. Whatever he or she is telling, okay, why they chose design,
Yes.
you can understand, okay, what type of passion is there, what exactly they are looking for in this career. It is not just for the sake of multiple opportunities are available, right? So I'm giving my perspective. Of course, people have different perspective in industry also, but that is something which I look for, with like how much passionate the student is or the candidate is, because design using tools, this is skill. I mean, this can be sharpened. This can be done by more mentoring, by giving more practice. So one, we try to understand the passion. We try to understand the thought process. Whether you are understanding that this is the process, whether you are understanding this is collaborative process, teamwork is really important. So right attitude, passion, thought process. This is the core. Then comes, okay, what are your skills? Can you show those skills through your portfolio? Can you explain why you have done that? If I ask you to do something, like if we give the assignment in interview, can you come up with the solution in a way where again the thought process, understanding, everything is getting displayed. So that is how it will be.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was something related to this only. Say in fine arts, whenever we try to display something or whenever we try to create any concept or idea, right? We first try scribbles. And definitely in the first year or in the foundation year, we develop our skills, right? So to getting into, because UI UX is a very big industry, I would say, though we in fine arts we are taking it as one of the courses, right? And UI UX is one course we teach right from second year onwards. But my question is, like, to get into fine arts, to express, to show their skills, maybe in terms of visuals, in terms of drawing, right? They have to scribble out things. They have to do the very, they have to enhance their skills. They have to do lots of scribbles and then rough visuals, then final scribbles, then final visual, right? So similar way in UI UX, what kind of scribbling or what kind of skills students need to develop so that they think themselves that yes, they are fit to this particular industry, and they can think themselves as a visual designer after the completion of the course. So I would like to know from you that what kind of skills and what kind of scribblings they need to develop to get into UI UX industry.
Sure, sir. And I completely agree with you that, okay, scribbling part is important. So first of all, before I go into the answer, student need to understand that overall, this is the skill part, like whether we are talking about art, whether design, UX part also, these are skills. So students should not look for shortcuts in this. They have to do the practice. I mean, without practice, you cannot excel in this. That is for sure. That understanding, because a lot of students are not having, or they try to go away from the practice, but they should understand, okay, without practice, it cannot be succeeded for sure. Now, when it comes to scribbling part, so scribbling is one thing where we talk about if it is digital product, right? The mobile app or website related. So whenever nowadays students are always on the mobile, they have a lot of understanding websites and mobile apps. So whenever they are surfing also, or whenever they are browsing different apps, they need to continuously observe those and maybe just start repeating the same layout as a scribbling. Maybe if I'm using Paytm or Google Pay, just try putting that on the vertical screen, vertical sketch as such. Okay, whether you are just doing the concept sketch of that mobile app. Now, the reason I'm saying, okay, even if it is replicating as it is fine, because initially when you try to replicate, then you will start thinking immediately, okay, ये button अगर यहाँ से मैं शायद यहाँ पे move करूँ, या फिर यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा सा और बड़ा कर दूँ. So looking at the website, looking at the app, start sketching those, then start improvising in those things. So that will help them to understand, okay, what is the space, how much space I'm getting, how much data, how much information I can keep on accommodating. So rather than waiting for a particular UX session or then practicing, they can just start scribbling the same apps which they are using.
Oh, great.
So Prasad sir, I just wanted to ask that what will come first, UX or UI? And can UI without UX and UX without UI?
Well, I just answer that similar question to Dipankar. So that UX is, of course, I mean, it's a bigger umbrella. UI is one part of that. So experience part, as I mentioned for title explanation also, experience is everywhere overall. So, I mean, UI without UX or design without UX is not happening. Of course, I mean, experience is core or the basic part of it. If I have to talk about just UI, see, there are two aspects. Even if I start doing mobile apps without thinking about the user, what will happen that, okay, it will not work out really well. User may not like it, right? The business will not be able to sustain business, will not be able to run it. So that will happen if you don't think about user and just talk about the interface. So that's, I think, the straightforward. So that you have to think about the overall experience, and that experience will come only because you are understanding the user, only because you are understanding the context. And within UX, there are no thumb rules. If I tell, okay, these are the 10 guidelines, if you follow these 10 guidelines, experience will be better. Because it depends a lot. I mean, there is always answer called it depends, because for whom you are designing, where they are going to use it, right? Like we were initially just discussing that whether we have to use the animations or not. But
Yes.
if it is for senior citizen and I have to use the fancy animation for on very small element, that might be looking good, but that user, senior citizen, for them it is something confusing, it is something interrupting. They're not understanding what it is, right? What they want is bigger font, bigger size button and information. So we need to understand that perspective and then start working on UI. So again, to summarize, UI is part of UX and experience is always there. It has been there since initial days, like even the hunting tools or hammer, everything. It's design.
Okay, Prasad sir. Actually, a few days ago, one of our student, she was asking me, sir, UI is user interface and UX is user experience. तो UX क्यों है सर? उसको UE क्यों नहीं हुआ? Why it is UX?
That's good. At least quite a curious student. Not a lot of students ask this question.
Yes, yes.
It's really confusing.
Correct,
Why it
correct.
is UX not UE?
सर इसका कुछ टेक्निकल आंसर नहीं है as such. जो नेट पे अवेलेबल है वो मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ. बेसिकली इनिशियली इसको यूई बोला जाता था, बट अराउंड 90s के टाइम पे वगैरह भी विंडोज एक्सपी आया. तो विंडोज एक्सपी जब लॉन्च हुआ था, इट वाज टू शो दैट विंडोज एक्सपीरियंस. एंड एक्सपी प्रोफेशनल सुनने के लिए थोड़ा सा ज्यादा प्रोफेशनल लग रहा था. इवन जब लिख रहे थे तब अच्छा लग रहा था. सो दैट्स वेयर द कोर टीम हु वर वर्किंग ऑन यूजर एक्सपीरियंस दैट टाइम, they thought इसको UI की जगह UX बुलाना sounds much better and professional. I mean, no technical reason, nothing scientific reason here.
Okay.
Yes.
I think it is much convenient for the users to use as experience. So experience starts with X, and you know, in those days when it was initiated, so X factor used to play a very important role. I don't know why X factor plays, but always everywhere X factor. I mean, some other kind X factor is very important. That's why I think using experience. So X factor is important. XP means professional experience. That way, I think this is my logic behind it.
Okay.
Correct.
So and it is difficult. It is tongue twisting to use UI UE. UE is different, na? UI is okay,
Right.
but UX is it completes the word experience.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Sounds good, easy to
Sounds
use.
good. Sounds good.
Right. And
So-
you're right, sir. I mean, sorry, Chitra.
Exactly.
The one reason also available on internet which says that when we, even if it is spelling starts from E, but when we pronounce, we say
Yes.
experience. So X comes
Pronunciation,
first.
yes.
So
Yes, yes.
that's what they have mentioned.
Phonetically.
Phonetics, yes.
So
yes.
Prasad sir, how much is important to communicate in English to enter in this field? Because we can understand our students, you know, they come from different backgrounds,
Yes.
and it's really difficult for them to communicate in English. So how much is this important?
I come from Marathi background, and I come from a very small village. When I started learning about design, when I came to Pune, there were very few words and very simple words which we use generally normally. Like one incident I will tell. I got one call for freelance design. Okay, and second day when I went to class again, there was one senior lady with me in the same batch. I was showing her email that okay, this was the client who called me, and there was a mention of okay, as per our telephonic conversation, and I started thinking कि अच्छा ये telephone related कुछ तो है. Then she said अरे तुझे कुछ call भी आया था क्या? हाँ मुझे call आया था. So that's where she said, okay, when the person is saying telephonic conversation, that is what it means. So this is where I have started. Okay, and I didn't face any issues because of that. So student के लिए ये बहुत I mean one request कि आप language की वजह से confidence में पीछे मत रहो. Work on your skills और communication barrier बनाने से better. अगर आपने पूछा कि मैंने क्या improve करने के लिए, there was nothing much. I mean, like whenever client email comes, you are continuously reading those emails. You are looking at अच्छा इसका meaning क्या है, आप team member को पूछ रहे हो, and slowly आप वो समझते जाते हो. मतलब उसके लिए time लगा. Even there are a lot of words which my 7th standard son uses English के, वो बहुत सारे मुझे नहीं पता. मुझे मेरे industry related, मेरे काम के related पता है. So it is absolutely fine. I mean, you don't have to टेल योरसेल्फ कि अगर मुझे इंग्लिश नहीं आ रहा है तो मुझे डिजाइन नहीं आएगा. तो उनको बेसिकली ये समझना है कि आपके जो स्किल है आइडियाज के या आपके सॉल्यूशन के, वो आपको फ्रीली बोलने हैं, फ्रीली बात करने हैं, और उतना ही जितना बात करना शुरू करेंगे उतना लोग भी अप्रिशिएट करेंगे. ऑफ कोर्स आई मीन इसके पास ये जो आइडिया था वो बेटर था. अगर आप बात ही नहीं करोगे तो वो आपके स्किल नहीं समझेंगे.
Yes.
So sorry, just to elaborate one more thing. Communication कहाँ पे important हो जाता है कि जब आप एक कंपनी में जा रहे हो जिनके ग्लोबल लेवल के क्लाइंट है and you want to work with the foreign client, वहाँ पे आपको problems आते हैं. So of course you need to improve, you need to work on communication, but communication अभी अच्छा नहीं है इसलिए अभी डिजाइनर नहीं बन सकते, that is not the case. बट आपको काम करना है. अगर आपको फॉरेन क्लाइंट्स के साथ करना है एंड सबको आईटी में जाके अब्रॉड ट्रिप करनी है, राइट, तो उस केस में आपको थोड़ा सा कम्युनिकेशन पे स्लोली काम करना पड़ेगा.
So, sir, we all are aware that you have created your YouTube channel, that is Marathi Mandal. So, what makes you to create this channel in Marathi? And again, it is based on completely UX.
Correct.
Yes.
So, in this overall experience, what I have seen, as I was just talking, कि लोग अगर इंग्लिश नहीं आता है तो थोड़ा सा पीछे रहते हैं, बात नहीं करते हैं. काफी सारे कंपनी में ऐसे ग्रुप्स बनते थे कि मराठी मीडियम से जो लोग आए, इंग्लिश ज्यादा नहीं बोल रहे, उनका एक अलग ग्रुप बन जाता है. दूसरा, नॉट नेसेसरी कि बहुत अच्छा इंग्लिश बोल रहे, हो सकता है कि हिंदी में ही बात करते हैं, कोई एकदम प्रॉपर कॉन्वेंट से है, बट दो ग्रुप बन जाना, डिस्कशन प्रॉपरली नहीं होना, उसका बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट होता है कि आपका टीम वर्क कैसे हो रहा है, राइट. और ये काफी सारे कंपनीज में देखी चीज. एंड देन कोई मराठी स्टूडेंट हो जिसको सीरियस, मतलब जिसके पास टैलेंट है, जिसके पास वो स्किल्स है, जो अच्छे डिजाइनर बन सकता है, देन ही और शी गोज फॉर क्लास कोर्सेज ऑल्सो. बट यूएक्स कोर्स में प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि टर्मिनोलॉजीज का इतना हेवीली यूज होता है कि फिर वो स्टूडेंट कंफ्यूज हो जाता है कि अच्छा एग्जैक्टली क्या है ये, अगर मुझे समझ में नहीं आया उस वर्ड का मीनिंग. एंड दैट वाज द रीजन आई स्टार्टेड थिंकिंग कि मुझे ये करना है. एंड दैट्स वेयर डिजाइन मंडल केम इनटू पिक्चर. इवन जस्ट कपल ऑफ मंथ, आई मीन मे में स्टार्ट हुआ एक मई महाराष्ट्र दिन, बट इट इज जस्ट टू एक्सप्लेन देम कि आप यूएक्स को, ओवरऑल डिजाइन फील्ड को इतना प्रेशराइज करके अंडरस्टैंड मत करो कि मुझे अगर इंग्लिश नहीं आ रहा है तो ये वर्ड कैसे समझूं. एंड दैट इज व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू डू विद दैट चैनल कि एकदम सिंपल वर्ड्स में, प्रॉपर मराठी में, कि एक्सपीरियंस इज दिस, प्रोसेस ये होता है, रिसर्च ऐसे करना है, ताकि उनका वो डर निकल जाए. That's the reason of starting the channel.
Sir, what challenges your observation you have seen while working with fresh designers, I mean to say?
So fresh designer के साथ the first challenge or first thing which I would like them to change is, as I mentioned, कि वो shortcut ढूंढने की बहुत कोशिश में रहता है कि anything happens कि okay, of course I mean in childhood से उनके पास अभी Google है, सारी चीजें हैं, so going to Behance, going to Dribbble, going on Google, looking at things, that is important, that is fine, that is necessary, but they don't actually imply thought. And हम सब जो भी यहाँ पे अभी सभी टीम अपनी when we started, what used to happen that we used to enjoy the work, and उसमें कभी भी अपना छुट्टी like after office hours ये सारी चीजें पे ध्यान नहीं रहता था mostly क्योंकि how can I make it better.
Yes, yes.
ये something which I saw is quite lacking, because I'm not talking about कि okay उनको weekend पे आना चाहिए, उनको after office रुकना चाहिए, but you need to give your 100%, you need to be proactive. This is from the personality part of thing.
Okay.
And from design perspective I will say कि उनका बहुत ज्यादा focus होता है tools पे, जबकि tools जो part है वो आपके thought process को display करने के लिए है. And like me and Milind sir had multiple interactions, discussions कि एक तो tools का part है, but उससे पहले भी लोग art को या sketching को जो नहीं ये डिजाइन में नेसेसरी नहीं है, बट वी हैड मल्टीपल डिस्कशन कि अपने जो थॉट्स हैं आप अगर वो विजुअली कम्युनिकेट कर ही नहीं पाओगे तो सामने वाला कैसे समझेगा, राइट? सो दैट्स वेयर आई थिंक ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर रियली नेसेसरी. टूल्स काफी बाद में आते हैं.
Okay.
तो वो फोकस बहुत ज्यादा मिसिंग लगता है डिजाइनर्स में, फ्रेशर्स में.
Okay.
दैट इज व्हाट आई विल से एज अ मेजर चैलेंज.
So what is the difference between UX design and other design principles?
So
Disciplines.
disciplines, yeah.
Hmm.
As we are discussing continuously कि UX, whenever we talk about design there has to be experience, because हम किसी और के लिए वो solution दे रहे हैं. So I will not say UX as a separate stream or separate discipline. अगर आप इंडस्ट्रियल डिजाइन कर रहे हो जिसमें आप एक कुछ प्रोडक्ट बनाते हो, उस प्रोडक्ट में मैक्सिमम होगा कि आप अर्गोनॉमिक्स पे, मटेरियल पे ध्यान दोगे, बट वो यूजर फ्रेंडली होना चाहिए, वो फोकस हमेशा रहेगा. सेम चीज होगी ग्राफिक डिजाइनर, वो डिजिटल के लिए करेगा. इंटीरियर या आर्किटेक्ट वो स्पेस को देख के यहाँ पे मैं यूटिलाइजेशन कैसे दूं, कौन यूज करेगा. अगेन मुझे हॉस्पिटल के लिए स्पेस डिजाइन करना हो तो मैं उस वहां पे पेशेंट होंगे, वो उठ नहीं पाएंगे, वो सोचूंगा. सो the experience and the solution as per the user is everywhere. So I don't consider UX as a separate discipline, because UX एक core है और base है सारे design का.
Okay.
Okay. So do you think that the students should have knowledge of coding to enter in this field,
Exactly.
like HTML, CSS?
Right. So to enter in the field, you don't have to have the knowledge of coding, but HTML, CSS is always good to have, because आपको अगर कुछ प्रोटोटाइप वगैरह करके दिखाने हैं initially, right? So it is always good, but nowadays there are multiple tools available, so not necessary. And to enter तो बिल्कुल ही जरूरत नहीं है, but आप IT इंडस्ट्री में जाते हो, आप डेवलपर्स के साथ काम कर रहे हो, तो जब वो कोई C# में कर रहा है, कोई जावा में कर रहा है, कोई एंगुलर एनीथिंग, आप अगर एटलीस्ट जैसे अपना डिस्कशन जस्ट रिसेंटली हुआ मेरे दीपांकर सर के साथ कि उनकी टर्मिनोलॉजीज हो या फिर उनका एक्चुअली उस लैंग्वेज के, उस कोडिंग लैंग्वेज के लिमिटेशंस, राइट? सो वो उनके साथ ऑफ कोर्स दिस इज लर्निंग कर्व, जितना आप उनके साथ डिस्कस करते जाओगे, काम करते जाओगे, वो सीखोगे. बट बीइंग अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट इज कमिंग इन द मार्केट और उससे लोगों ने क्या क्या यूज किया है इज इम्पोर्टेंट. आपको बैठ के कोडिंग करने की जरूरत नहीं है ऑफ कोर्स, बट यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू नीड टू बी अवेयर. मतलब लर्निंग हमेशा करते रहना चाहिए. ये मेरा काम नहीं है अगर ये बोल के छोड़ दिया तो देन यस यू आर नॉट वरीड अबाउट कि मेरा डिजाइन जब इम्प्लीमेंट होगा तो कैसे होगा. अगर आपने जो डिजाइन बना के दिया है डेवलपर को और अगर डेवलपमेंट में वैसा इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं हुआ तो अल्टीमेटली यूजर को नहीं मिलेगा, राइट? सो दैट इज व्हाई यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड यू नीड टू कोलैबोरेट रियली वेल विद डेवलपर्स. आपको बैठ के कोडिंग नहीं करना है, बट एटलीस्ट उनके साथ डिस्कशन करके उतना अंडरस्टैंडिंग लिमिटेशंस कहाँ पे, फिजिबिलिटी है कि नहीं, वो होना चाहिए.
Yes.
Sir, you was asking about the portfolio, right? So what is a good portfolio from your perspective, sir?
So I think I mentioned the same answer initially. Portfolio के लिए as I said कि 40-50 प्रोजेक्ट नहीं चाहिए, मुझे 4 से 5 प्रोजेक्ट जहाँ पे if you are talking about the entire experience part, right? So even let's say very simple example, अपना हर एक का रोज का स्ट्रगल है कि अपना जो बेडिंग जब बनाते हैं हम लोग बेड पे, राइट? तो बेडशीट अगर मैं उस पर डालता हूँ तो मुझे चारों साइड से कॉर्नर से वो बार बार फोल्ड करना है, अंदर डालना है अपने इसके गद्दे के नीचे, राइट? एंड एवरी टाइम इट कम्स आउट, इट डजंट फिट प्रॉपरली. आप एक कॉर्नर पे जाते हो तो वहां पे भी वो प्रॉपरली नहीं फिट हो रहा है. सो दिस इज वेरी सिंपल एंड डेली लाइफ का प्रॉब्लम. इफ a particular student is taking this problem कमिंग अप विद ताकि ओके मैं रोज देखता हूँ कि ऐसे ऐसे हो रहा है घर में, एंड देन आई सॉ, मैंने काफी जगह इंक्वायरी की, फ्रेंड्स के साथ भी यही था, एंड देन दिस इज व्हाट आई केम अप विद। वेरी सिंपल, अगर वो छोटा सा क्लिक भी होगा लगाने के लिए तो, बट दैट शोज द एंटायर थॉट प्रोसेस इन द प्रोजेक्ट। सो पोर्टफोलियो में नॉट नेसेसरी कि आपने बहुत सारे डिजिटल प्रोजेक्ट किए हुए हो,
Yes, sir.
बट आपका डिजाइन का अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, आप प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने की कैपेबिलिटी है आपके पास, आपको आप एम्पथाइज कर सकते हो, ये चीजें दिखना आई थिंक नेसेसरी है। सो पोर्टफोलियो में सिर्फ एक अच्छे दिखने वाले फैंसी डिजाइन जो बिहान्स पे आजकल काफी ज्यादा चलता है वो मत रखिए, बट पोर्टफोलियो में आपके स्क्रिबलिंग, आपके कंसेप्ट स्केचेस, इवन आपके थॉट प्रोसेस, आपके जो नोट्स होंगे, जो माइंड मैप इनिशियली बनाते हैं हम लोग, अगर वो पूरा प्रोसेस एक प्रोजेक्ट का एक्सप्लेन करेंगे, दैट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल टू अंडरस्टैंड अनदर पर्सन कि क्या थॉट प्रोसेस है।
Okay. So what do you think will be the next trend in UX design, sir?
So UX का, as I said again and again, UX का हमेशा का आंसर एक है कि it depends, because context क्या है, किसके लिए बना रहे हो, ये बहुत ज्यादा डिपेंड करता है। बाकी ट्रेंड वाइज अगर देखा जाए तो आई थिंक ट्रेंड जो चेंज होते हैं वो विजुअल डिजाइन के UI के चेंज हो रहे हैं। एक्सपीरियंस वाला ट्रेंड या उसके रिलेटेड कुछ चेंजेस एज सच नहीं है, राइट। सो जैसे अभी फ्लैट कलर्स आए थे, एप्पल स्टार्टेड डूइंग समथिंग विद ग्रेडियंट अगेन, सो इट स्टार्टेड कमिंग बैक। सो अगर कोई बड़े ब्रांड्स कुछ लेकर आते हैं तो वो चेंजेस होते जाते हैं, बट फ्रॉम UX पर्सपेक्टिव आई विल से वन थिंग कि बहुत सारे जैसे अपना Amazon Echo हो गया, Google Home है, राइट, ये सारी चीजें, जो Alexa, ये चीजें बहुत सारी आ रही है मार्केट में, स्मार्ट वॉचेस है। सो फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव एनीवन हैज टू थिंक कि ओके अभी जितना भी हो रहा है वो डिवाइस और छोटा होते जा रहा है। Alexa जैसे जो डिवाइसेस है वहाँ पे इनफैक्ट UI की, यूजर इंटरफेस की तो जरूरत ही नहीं है, दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड एज वॉइस एक्सपीरियंस बाय द वे। बट कौन से टाइप के क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाएंगे, फिर उसको कैसे आंसर देना है, वो इवन दो वो वॉइस का टोन कैसे होना चाहिए, दैट इज ऑल पार्ट ऑफ गिविंग द एक्सपीरियंस, राइट। सो इन पर्सपेक्टिव से भी सोचना, एंड व्हेन वी से IoT, मतलब आजकल सब कुछ कनेक्टेड है, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स, IoT का जो लॉन्ग फॉर्म है, सब सारी चीजें कनेक्टेड है। तो मैं नॉट एज अ ट्रेंड बट एक पर्सपेक्टिव देखना चाहूंगा स्टूडेंट में डेफिनेटली, कि मैंने एक वेबसाइट बनाई या मोबाइल ऐप बनाया, उससे बेटर उस मोबाइल ऐप का कनेक्शन, उसमें मैं वॉइस का यूज कर रहा हूँ क्या, मैं वॉइस कमांड दे रहा हूँ मैं जब ड्राइव कर रहा हूँ, या फिर मैं उसके थ्रू मेरे घर के जो भी अप्लायंसेस है वो सेट कर पा रहा हूँ, या फिर Alexa का बीच में यूज हो रहा है। ये सारी चीजें अगर वो कनेक्ट करना शुरू करेंगे, कनेक्ट करना सोचेंगे, आई थिंक दैट इज समथिंग, बिकॉज टेक्नोलॉजी पर्सपेक्टिव दैट इज द ट्रेंड नाउअडेज, राइट, कि आपको स्मार्ट वॉचेस आ रहे हैं आपके पास, एंड वॉइस डिवाइसेस आ रहे हैं। सो ट्राई कनेक्टिंग डिफरेंट थिंग्स टुगेदर, और एक पूरा सॉल्यूशन कैसे बन सकता है उस पर फोकस होना चाहिए अभी फॉर द फ्यूचर पार्ट।
So please tell us something about the opportunities. If I want to establish my career in UI UX designing field, then what are the opportunities available in the market right now?
Okay. I will not talk about the number because see number is constantly changing on the internet, और student को easily मिल जाएगा कि कितने jobs available है, but just to take the initial discussion further, जो first question का हमने जो बोला था experience is everything, because इतना जो competition बढ़ रहा है, और अभी plus कोविड की वजह से जो सिचुएशन हुआ, काफी सारे बिजनेसेस को ऑनलाइन डिजिटाइज होना पड़ा, राइट, जो डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन है। सो डिजिटल UX UI वाला जो पार्ट है, देयर इज अ ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटी। ये अभी के सिचुएशन में पैंडेमिक में ऐसे हो रहा है कि लोगों के किसी के जॉब जो दूसरे फील्ड में है उनके जॉब गए, कई बिजनेसेस रन नहीं हो रहे, बट यू गो टू एनी जॉब वेबसाइट, एनी लाइक इवन प्रोफेशनल नेटवर्क लाइक LinkedIn, you will constantly see there is a requirement for UX designer. Right? So there is a huge opportunity because businesses are understanding कि मुझे यूजर को समझना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है, मुझे एक्सपीरियंस और बेटर करना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है। सो बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट एक्चुअली डिजिटल जो सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग का डिजाइन का भी काम करते हैं, उसमें भी आई विल सजेस्ट कि दैट्स अगेन एक्सपीरियंस। आई मीन आपके पास कुछ पार्ट आता है कि ओके एक होली का या फेस्टिवल का पोस्ट बना दो, बट इफ यू थिंक फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव, ओके सिर्फ एक पोस्ट का डिजाइन देने से बेटर मैं उस डिजाइन के थ्रू एक और एक्शन कनेक्टेड है, उस एक्शन पे हो सकता है कि वही चीज उनके, जैसा हम बात कर रहे थे स्मार्ट वॉच हो, या वहां से मैं कुछ स्कैन करके वेबसाइट से कनेक्ट होता है, वहाँ बेसिकली एक स्टोरी बिल्ड होती है, उससे मल्टीपल एक्शंस होते हैं। सो वो यूजर आपके उस पोस्ट के लिए ज्यादा बेटर एंगेज रहेगा, ज्यादा रिएक्ट करेगा, राइट? सो इवन स्टूडेंट को ये अंडरस्टैंड करना आई थिंक नेसेसरी है कि सिर्फ ऐप या वेबसाइट डेवलप करना इज यूएक्स पार्ट नहीं, आपके पास सोशल मीडिया भी आता है, कुछ भी काम आता है।
Exactly.
थिंक फ्रॉम दैट पर्सपेक्टिव कि मैं जो एंड यूजर या कस्टमर है उसको उसको जो चाहिए वो सब कुछ दे रहा हूँ कि नहीं प्रॉपरली, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट।
Okay. Yes, Chitra ma'am. Milind sir would like to ask any questions, sir?
Yes. Yes, students. So anybody want to ask any question? Please ask.
Students, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So, Prasad sir, storytelling, we hear this term, these days. So, is it a part of UI UX again? Because whenever you want to show any process to your user or your client, right? Then again, you have to narrate a story in front of them. So, is it a
Right.
part of UX?
Yes, it is basically when you're talking about your designs to your client,
Yes.
you are convincing them, you are selling your design to them. So storytelling sales में काफी ज्यादा important है। तो आप जब डिजाइन क्लाइंट को ही नहीं, सिर्फ अपने मैनेजर को या जो भी ओवरऑल टीम है उनको जब आप डिजाइन दिखा रहे हो, तो अगर सिर्फ मैंने स्क्रीन दिखाई या फिर एक स्लाइड दिखाया, that will not work out really well all the time, right?
Yes.
अगर मैं उसमें एक स्टोरी बिल्ड करते जा, मतलब when I'm saying story, not necessarily like एक fictional story, right? But you are talking about कि okay, यूजर जो आता है मेरा, वो यूजर हमेशा ये टास्क करता है, यूजर सुबह उठने के बाद ये होता है, so which is called as customer journey mapping in
Yes.
UX के टर्म्स में। तो अगर मैं उसी जर्नी मैप को या फिर एक सिनेरियो को लेकर प्रॉपरली उसको एक्सप्लेन करता हूँ, then it makes more impact. और जब आप प्रेजेंट कर रहे हो आपका डिजाइन, सी स्टूडेंट को एक और चीज बहुत ज्यादा समझना जरूरी है, जो दीपांकर सर का इनिशियल क्वेश्चन था कि व्हाट इज लैकिंग। मेरा डिजाइन मैंने शेयर कर दिया, ईमेल कर दिया, या फिर प्रेजेंटेशन मैंने दिखा दिया, ये स्लाइड शो है, ये नहीं करना चाहिए उनको। सी अल्टीमेटली ओवरऑल डिजाइन कम्युनिटी या फिर अपने डिजाइन का रिस्पेक्ट आप खुद नहीं बढ़ाओगे या फिर उसका इम्पोर्टेंस आप खुद नहीं बताओगे, तो another person will not understand. Because unfortunately design is something बहुत ज्यादा परसेप्शन पे बेस करता है। तो अगर मुझे रेड कलर अच्छा लगता है, आपको मे बी ब्लू कलर लग रहा होगा, किसी और को येलो कलर। तो जब क्लाइंट मीटिंग, टीम मीटिंग होगी, तो कोई बताएगा कि यार ये कलर चेंज करो, इसको शार्प एजेस की जगह राउंडेड कॉर्नर्स करके दो। तो वहां पे आपके पास रीजन चाहिए कि मैंने रेड कलर क्यों यूज किया था, जो शार्प कॉर्नर्स है उसका रीजन क्या है। सो दैट रीजनिंग, once you start talking about all the reasons and giving explanation, then आपके solution का, आपके design का एक तो properly convince होगा and the overall respect होगा उस design का। Otherwise you will keep on changing colors and shapes.
Yes, yes. And what will be your suggestion to the students? Because many of the students are expecting that at the initial level they should get good package. In their first job, maybe it is in their internship. So, what you will suggest to these two students or the people who are exploring in this field?
First of all, I will say that's very unfortunate because they're focusing a lot on package and money.
Yes.
Of course, I mean media plays a big role कि हम लोग news सुनते हैं कि इतना package मिला. But to suggest student, I will always say कि आप कहाँ पे internship के लिए, कहाँ पे job के लिए जा रहे हो, वहाँ पे आपका जो पैशन है, आपको करियर जिसमें करना है, वो चांस मिल रहा है कि नहीं, मुझे सीखने के लिए क्या मिल रहा है, मेरे मेंटर्स कौन है। अगर किसी कंपनी में भी जा रहा हूँ, इट इज ऑलवेज गुड टू स्टार्ट विद स्मॉल कंपनी, बिकॉज आप एक बड़े कंपनी में जाते हो, आपको पैकेज मिलेगा, बट वहाँ पे प्रोसेसेस सेट है, वहाँ पे डिपार्टमेंट्स एंड एवरीथिंग इज सेट। तो आपको एक पर्टिकुलर काम आपके पास आएगा, आप वो काम करोगे। बट इनिशियल डेज में, इनिशियल ईयर्स में, इट इज रियली गुड टू कीप ऑन लर्निंग। तो आपको इफ यू वांट डिफरेंट रोल्स, डिफरेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज, इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर कि आप एक स्मॉल कंपनी के साथ काम करो. सो इनिशियल ईयर्स में आई विल सजेस्ट लाइक almost 4 to 5 years, the focus should be on learning. Focus should be growing yourself. Package money, once you have good skill, once you have learned really well, वो चीजें मिलती हैं. I mean, it will be always there. And it's not just Three Idiots का example, but I was talking about my example of English communication, right?
Yes.
So when my first internship, जहाँ पे मैं सीख रहा था, उन्होंने ही बोला था सर ने, उनका एक कंपनी था Winsnet. So he asked you, okay, can you come and work with us as a trainee designer? जबकि पूरी बैच हमारी काम करना चाहती थी, और उन्होंने जब पूछा तो then said कि okay, and then he offered कि okay, I'll just pay 750 rupees.
Okay.
And I was more surprised कि अच्छा आप उसके लिए पे भी करोगे. मुझे ये था कि अच्छा मुझे यहाँ पे आऊंगा तो 2 और सीनियर डिजाइनर जो ऑलरेडी काम कर रहे हैं, तो उनके साथ, that was part time, so उनके साथ एटलीस्ट मैं हाफ डे बैठ रहा हूँ, मुझे प्रैक्टिस मिल रही है, right? So even it was started with 750. Once you start showing those skills and company understands कि okay, this person is valuable, they will pay. So but you should not start focusing कि मुझे पे कितना मिल रहा है. आप skills उतने enhance करो कि yes, it will be always there. Which I mean, I can say it's my completely personal experience. ये होता है, मतलब never talk about packages or ask for these things, but it works out because you are adding the value.
Yes.
And value always have money for business, right?
Yes, प्रसाद सर, हमें सुनना तो बहुत है आपको, but we have time limits. So this is the session, time for question answer. Students, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Yes, anyone, please.
Or even you can text in the chat box.
Chat box.
Yes.
Yeah.
One is there, I think, ma'am. Okay. Ma'am, no one is there.
Achha.
Yes, Milind sir.
So there is one message.
Yes.
Okay. Can't unmute myself.
Nandini, you can type your question if
Yes.
you can't unmute. Yeah.
So
Just
right
type
now,
your question.
right now they can unmute themselves.
Yes,
Okay.
Nandini, you can unmute yourself now.
Yes.
There is one question.
So she's asking, yeah, Rutuja.
Yeah. What is the difference between visual?
Yes, Nandini,
go ahead.
you can ask your question.
Okay, so Prasad sir, I just wanted to know that can you tell us about your projects you are most proud of or you really enjoyed working for?
Okay. So Nandini, there are multiple different domain related projects. The recent project was just creating the customer value proposition. Okay, and it was we haven't done a single sketch. There was no visual design, but it was purely based on the research, and we had to go to. This is a little bit like, because this is very recent, and it was completely different experience than other project. That's why I'm talking about this, but it's not something कि हाँ यही एक favorite है, काफी सारे हैं, but ये particular project ऐसा था because we had to go to Vietnam, and now we were initially talking कि okay language का कितना problem होता है. So even though we can talk in English, but in Vietnam there are very few people who can speak in English. So first of all, for all the meetings, okay, simple team discussion में भी हमारे साथ हमेशा एक translator रहता था. So that experience was completely different. And one thing was there that okay, you can work on the project, आप deliver कर देते हो, deliverables खत्म हो गया. But here it was more about कि okay, client side से there was a team which was assigned with us, and our responsibility was आप solution दे रहे हो, but along with that you need to train our team so that we can keep doing this sort of research, we can keep coming with different insights. तो आपको हमारी टीम को भी train करना है. So I think that was a really great experience, because even though there was a language barrier, translator was involved. We don't know what he or she was talking about, talking to the client, right? then it was getting translated to us. So that was wonderful experience because from the user research perspective, we went to different companies. We went to bigger, like the number 2 construction company in Vietnam. उनके जो top management है, उनके user interviews हुए, फिर then the supplier chain, and understanding everything from different language and coming up with the good solution where their management and overall owners were really happy with. I think that was a wonderful experience.
There is one question in chat box, sir. What is the difference between visual designer and user experience designer?
Right. I think Rutuja, I spoke about this part in overall discussion, but I'll just repeat it again. We call it as a UI designer, visual designer, graphic designer. बहुत सारे terminologies use होते हैं, but what I was mentioning continuously from the earlier time, the experience is very core. Experience is base. When we say design, हम किसी का problem solve कर रहे हैं. वो problem better तरीके से solve करना is entire user experience process. So the major difference is visual designer एक part है UX design के entire process का. Visual design में आपके पास जो solutions आए हैं वो आप visually communicate कर रहे हो, but उससे पहले वो solution कैसे आए, उसके लिए जो रिसर्च करना पड़ता है, बिजनेस को अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ता है, आइडिएशन, इंफॉर्मेशन आर्किटेक्चर, बहुत सारे टर्मिनोलॉजीज है, वो सारा काम ओवरऑल यूएक्स डिजाइनर का है. Whereas visual designer basically converts those solution into visual.
Okay. Anyone else, please?
I think
Yes, Ashley.
yes, Ashleisha.
Yes, please.
So I just wanted to ask that there are UI trends coming, like there is a UI trend 2020, there is 21. So what's the relevancy of following that? Like, is it important to follow those trends? Like there is new formism, there is 3D elements, and there is dark mode. So according to user experience and user interaction, how is it relevant to use them?
Okay. So see, when it comes to visual, using 3D elements and everything, that's something users get used to. Or in UX, even the simple thing, for whenever there is a link, we have the text as a blue color and उसपे एक underline होता है, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is not looking good to your entire design, we still use the same blue color and underline.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because this is called as a external usability.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, external usability learning for the user. User कहीं पे different websites पे, different mobile app पे, वो learning curve उसका complete हो चुका है user का. User समझ गया है कि okay, यहाँ पे जब blue color है और underline है, तो मुझे click कर सकता हूँ मैं और कहीं कुछ और open होता है. So we are just using that learning as it is, so that the experience will be better. So in the UI trends also, once we start using the similar trends जहाँ पे उनका learning curve कम हो रहा है, then it is helpful. But if you are using flat illustrations, instead of you have to go for 3D, that's something it's completely up to you and the client and overall project. Not necessary कि आपको आपका UI style change करना चाहिए उसके लिए.
So please tell something about design thinking.
Yeah, so just one more thing for Ashesha's question. Also, Ashesha, when we are talking about UI trends, and especially when it comes to mobile app, if you are designing a native mobile app, native in the sense कि आपके कुछ HTML, CSS और कुछ चीजें नहीं कर रहे हो, उस mobile app का ही coding use करके वो app बनेगा. At that point, it is important to understand okay, what is the trend Apple is using, iOS is using right now, what is the trend Android is using, right? Because if you go completely different than that, it will be really difficult to have those features, have those designs implemented within those limitations. So when you are thinking about native mobile apps, तब आपको वो trend, उसके guidelines वो ध्यान में रख के then काम करना will be much better.
Okay, but when we are designing a cross-platform application, so the design trends can be followed.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Yeah. Could you please tell about design thinking? Design field का एक और I think it's a fun element in fact, because you will always hear a lot of different terminologies. So design thinking basically एक designer कैसे सोचता है, right? If I have to just explain that. And जो हम continuously बात कर रहे हैं experience की, क्योंकि आप user research करते हो, आप data को understand करते हो. So even if you search online for design thinking, you will see IDEO का process, empathize, define, design वो वाला process. That process talks about the thing which we are continuously discussing since the start of this session. कि आप business को understand कर रहे हो, research कर रहे हो, ideate कर रहे हो. So design thinking is one of the term which has been given by IDEO's founders, but its overall experience का process देखो आप, design thinking का देखो, it's the same thing.
Anyone else, please?
Yeah, there is one more question. What are some of the biggest trends in the industry right now? From the UI trends perspective, I think as Ashlesha also mentioned, there are a lot of 3D illustrations are also coming into the market. Apart from that, flat color is going away. थोड़ा बहुत gradient use होना वापस शुरू हो गया है. Bigger images has been there, and I think that has been liked by everyone. अभी internet speed का issue किसी को नहीं है, so images are always there. Use of lot of videos has been there as well. So that is something which I'm giving you just a gist of what we see around us. But apart from that, Nandini, if you were there when we were talking about voice experiences and smart watches, I think that is something which you should look forward for. Okay, different devices, different technologies, even plus IoT, machine learning, ये सारी चीजें अगर आ रही है, तो मेरे overall solution में इनका मैं use कैसे करूँ? That is something which any designer I think should keep on thinking.
I think in current practice, people are using small animations in overall experience, right? While posting the things for users, right? Some small animations are used, I mean, very effectively. Is it so?
Absolutely, sir. Again, I mean, that comes to the part that okay, multiple websites and multiple apps are there. And if I just see static image at one place and I see a good, very small but nice looking and good animation, I'll stay on that app for longer. So अगर मुझे user engagement चाहिए, तो what can I do more? That's the thought should be there basically.
Correct.
Now also just to iterate for all the students, I mean whoever understands Marathi, we were talking about one channel earlier, because all these trends and the terminologies, how can it be simplified, how to do the research and उसका analysis कैसे करें, वो सब Marathi में basically we are trying to explain. That is something if somebody understands Marathi can definitely go ahead and look at that piece.
I think Prasad, you can share that link to, I mean, on this forum so that everybody can look at that link.
Yeah,
I mean, it is for their benefit, of course.
Absolutely.
Yes,
because it's just YouTube video, so up to you guys, students. आपको सब देखना है.
Sure.
Yeah, I have shared the link as well.
Yes.
Nice. Very good.
So इसमें आपको मराठी में overall की UX क्या है, UX का process के fundamentals, research कैसे करें, analysis कैसे करें, that's something which is going on.
डिझाइन मंडळामध्ये आपलं स्वागत आहे.
This was the first video, so camera, lighting, everything was quite poor in this.
कडून असे प्रश्न येतात की बाबा या करिअर मध्ये आम्ही
No worry, Prasad sir. Content is important there.
Yes.
Yes. Correct.
Yes. So considering, I think time. Yes. So
Very nice.
yeah. So thank you.
Prasad, just I mean, at the end, I would like to just ask you this ATM experience, and most of the time banking experience, right? What you will say about it, because banking and ATM experience is something which everybody must have experienced in their life. I mean, nowadays nobody is there who has not experienced how ATM machines is working, or how it is reacting, or how it is interacting with the user. So that is one kind of experience that everybody must understand, and then see how ATM machine reacts on each and every steps you follow as per the instructions. So I think ATM machine is one of the best example of UI and UX, because there is interaction. There is an interaction between the machine and the man
Yes.
and the user.
Correct.
So ATM machine could be the best example to understand what is user's experience and what is expected. Sometimes you may think that this particular bank's ATM is working better than the X bank, right? Because that is a kind of experience that user is getting. And same thing is with internet banking, because there are different filters and then securities. So sometimes that user gets pissed off. कि अरे क्या है, कितने बार ये करना है? So, but that is a kind of experience they actually would like to give to their users. कि we are taking care of your security. We are taking care of multiple levels of security. So I think this is one of the best example of users experience while working on different digital media or platforms. So just thought that I should share this example.
No, absolutely, sir. I would like to add a couple of things on that. That like we were talking about the portfolio initially, and the example which I mentioned was simple bedding. But why I use that example कि आप daily life में problems ढूंढ पा रहे हो और उसको solve करने की कोशिश कर रहे हो. But for portfolio examples like this, ATM, then I'm talking about banking. Like if I have account with maybe ICICI, and I just try to enhance that experience, that is also good for your portfolio purpose. And जो आपने बोला था कि अगर मुझे बार बार कुछ करना पड़ रहा है तो I will get frustrated. That's the biggest thing. So in experience is related to emotions.
Correct.
So if a user is not getting frustrated and user is happy enough within the entire flow, and that is why we say okay, किसी भी मेरे पूरे task में कहीं पे भी पूरे flow में मुझे कुछ interruption नहीं हो रहा है, मुझे कहीं पे कुछ ढूंढना पड़ रहा है, जो भी है पूरा smoothly जा रहा है. To say that, I think UX is basically, in simple word, it's a common sense.
Exactly.
एक बटन यहाँ पे होना चाहिए था, मैंने वहां पे रखा है, तो कोई मतलब किसी को प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं होगा कि अच्छा यहाँ पे होना चाहिए था. That's it. So that's really important. And portfolio purpose के लिए I think ऐसे examples लेना will be really great. Especially ATM का एक lot of time there is a question कि ATM to be used by a blind person. Although there are features कि वहाँ पे एक 3.5 mm का jack है, but उसको कैसे utilize करे, उसको कैसे better करे. Exactly. That is something really great example as such.
Yeah, I think Manisha has raised this kind of question. So I think with this discussion, she must have got a real answer to the question. She was asking like, what is really important? Easy to use or look of design? So of course, the experience is more important. If it is, even if it is very good looking, but it is very annoying or it is very boring in the experience, people will not use it, isn't it?
Correct, absolutely. but at the same time, Manisha, what happens is okay, if I have two product to compare and both are easy to use, but another product is looking good as well, so emotionally, because that's the perceiving thing, right? कि अगर आप यूजर को परसीव कर पा रहे हो कि ये परचेस करो या ये यूज करो. So as Milind sir rightly said, experience that easy to use has to be there, and having good design or good looking thing is one more additional thing for particular deliverables.
Correct. Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you, Milind sir.
Thank you.
I'd like to request Chitra ma'am for vote of thanks, please.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It is my privilege to extend the vote of thanks on the behalf of MIT School of Fine Arts and Applied Arts. I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Prasad Khose sir, for this interactive session, which has guided wonderfully to all the participants and the students. Thank you so much, sir. Our sincere gratitude to our founding father, Professor Dr. Vishwanath Karad sir, for his kind blessing and support. Also, I would like to thank our beloved Honorable Executive President and Vice Chancellor of MIT ADT University, Professor Dr. Mangesh Karad sir for being a mentor and always guiding us. I would like to thank the respected Pro Vice Chancellor Dr. Anand Chakradev sir. I must express my gratitude to humble Executive Director Mrs. Jyoti Dhakne ma'am for her kind support and encouragement. A very sincere thanks to our Dean and Principal, Dr. Milind sir, for this wonderful idea to conduct this interactive session. At the end, I would like to thank all the faculty members, participants, and dear students. I would like to thank Dipankar sir for conducting this interactive session. I must take this opportunity to acknowledge the efforts of the entire media team and technical team. Thank you for the smooth conduction of this online program. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you everyone for joining this session. Thank you.
Thank you, Prasad. See you again.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prasad sir. Thank you, Prasad sir. I think left queue.